The iPod launch in the UK kind of coincided with us making our new brochure. And we're thinking, well, we're a digital agency, why are we handing people dead trees? So we decided to rework our website, take aspects of it, and build a presentation tool on the iPad so we could hand someone a showcase of our work while simultaneously showcasing our work in a new technology.
Yeah, I mean, we find it very exciting because when we hand over the iPad to, let's say, a client, potential client, associate, they're kind of startled by the iPad, by how you can flick things, you know, in terms of navigating around the device, opening videos. It just seems to be a much more sort of natural way to interact with media, really, and with, you know, some of the capabilities of the iPad, you know, in terms of hardware, things like gyroscopes, accelerometers, orientation sort of changes. It's really exciting stuff.
We always do competitor research when we start a project. So, we weren't competing against these things. We looked at the Wired app, we looked at Flipboard, we looked at HTML5, iPad-specific websites like the Nike website, and took inspiration from them, saw what works, what didn't work. The Wired app, for example, had a huge download size, so we want to avoid that. We saw the UI elements that worked and which ones didn't, and just did a lot of playing around. I mean, we had the iPad in the office and everyone played with it and took ideas and jotted things down. The challenges of DuckPad were getting the content we wanted to show into the device, with keeping the file size low, taking into consideration designing one interface that worked in both orientations. So that was a consideration. Making it work offline was a big priority for us because although the iPad, some models have 3G, you can't always rely on that. If you're in a client building you've never been to before, the office might have bad connection or whatever. So we definitely wanted to be offline, and getting the cache to work was a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, definitely making sure that the app works sort of quickly. So obviously we had to compromise on things like animations and transitions and things like this. Another challenge, which was, I guess it's a challenge on lots of projects, but specifically on DuckPad, was text, where we were sort of internally debating how much text do we actually need, how much text are people going to read, or is it better for them just to click on the video and remove the text and give them a cleaner sort of user interface. So, and we did kind of end up, even at the very last sort of a few days ago, which is when we launched the app, we removed text and went for a cleaner sort of look and feel. So, you know, it's definitely a new way to do things, and I think that only time will tell, i.e. we're going to do quite a bit of user testing on this and see sort of how people respond and how they use the app, and then we're going to refine. It's an iterative process.
The cool thing about the iPad is it's the first of a new type of product. It's not a computer, and it introduces a new way of using the web, and it introduces casual browsing. It takes you off the computer, off the desktop, and into the couch. So you're sitting there, you're more relaxed, you're using the web in a different way. So you demand a different user experience. And that's really exciting to us because we design user experiences. So creating an experience that wasn't a brochure, it wasn't a website, it was something new, was really exciting to us. A lot of people have a love-hate relationship with iTunes. It's one place to get all your content, which is great from a user's point of view. From a developer point of view, it's hard to be found on the iTunes store because there's so much content now, so it's hard to stand out. And also, although it's been relaxed a lot more now, going through the Apple approval process can be quite a pain.
But then there are advantages as well on being on the App Store, because obviously there's brand recognition. You know, your brand is there. Millions of people are looking at the app, and also because your credit card details are are preloaded in the App Store, then it's much easier for you to purchase. It's just a buy sort of button, and it's there, providing that you've got the credit card details in there in the first place. So it's quick, but you know, in terms of convergence and taking sort of the app and then looking at Androids and Blackberries and HPs and all Samsungs and all these new ones that are going to come out, it might not be the case in, you know, there's an argument that in a year or something like that, the percentage of people who are going to buy apps could be lower. But then again, the people who are buying the iPad devices potentially might have more money, so potentially might be better consumers. So that's an argument as well.
As I mentioned, the iPad brings a new way of using the web, a more relaxed way, and people are going to embrace that. As we've seen in the talks, there's been a lot of research into people using a third screen or second or third screen while consuming traditional media like TV, and that's going to definitely increase. People will be watching TV, buying things, buying products that they see on TV, or interacting with the show in some way through iPads or similar devices. Obviously, you make money by selling through the App Store. You could have a free product that you can have in-app purchases, which are quite popular. There's also free apps with advertising streams, or just brand recognition and getting your product out there and creating a stronger brand and brand awareness and getting people to interact with your brand in different ways.
One thing that we're planning to do with DuckPad is package it up and try and convert it into a native app, which should hopefully be fairly straightforward. And we're also building some similar apps like DuckPad for our clients. I mean, one story I think we should mention is that we did show DuckPad during development to some clients. We saw it initially as more of an R&D project, but our clients got so excited that one of our clients bought 10 iPads the day afterwards for his own sort of sales team and said, okay, I want DuckPad, but for my business. So from our perspective, you know, we look at this as a sort of a great corporate presentation tool. Obviously, the e-commerce side of things is something that we're really interested in as well, because we have clients who are in e-commerce. So they're going to be looking at this with us. We just finished a website for the European Union as well, where we took a brochure, a printed brochure, and turned that into an interactive website with multimedia. So for them, I think it would be a natural step to have an iPad sort of web app as well, which is optimized for the iPad. So there's lots of opportunities out there, and I think the amount of inquiries that we're getting now, because we're sort of well known now as a iPad developer, we're getting quite a lot of interest. So you know, we've also got a game in the works as well that we're trying to transpose onto the iPad at the moment.
No, I believe HTML5 is probably the future of the app market, because as more and more devices come out, the fragmentation, you can't afford to specialize in one device unless you've got good reason to. So for a majority of brands, it makes sense to embrace HTML5, and Apple and the other manufacturers will recognize that. Yeah,
I mean, HTML5 is definitely the future in terms of native apps as well, because if you look at the history of Adobe Flash, initially it was quite a difficult language. There was lots of commercial issues, and then Adobe gradually made it more and more available for everyone to develop sort of Flash, and it became ubiquitous, and so eventually it will catch on.